on there, Noble Our Pioneers. Sorry about that. I was just brushing my teeth here in one of the bathrooms in my house, and I realized that when I started to get involved in design, I think the very first object that it ever really hit me, like this is like what design is, was a toothbrush. Not this particular toothbrush. This is a Colgate Plus toothbrush. But no, the toothbrush that I was really interested in was a toothbrush that I had read about in a design magazine. And it was called the Oral-B Cross-Action Toothbrush. And it was called the Cross-Action Toothbrush because this particular toothbrush was the first brush where the bristles weren't just straight up and down. These bristles were crossed like this. Maybe you have a brush like this, or maybe you've seen a brush like this. But the really cool thing was this, that Oral-B and its parent company, which is Braun, a German company, they put over $2.5 million into research to try and make a better toothbrush. And what they discovered is that there's a physical property that when flexible objects are bent against their nature, so if the bristle is going this way and I'm brushing and forcing it to go this way, right? So it's going against its angle, that when it finally releases, it exerts, and I don't know, it's like 20% more force than if it were just straight up and down. And that force means that that toothbrush actually cleaned teeth better. So they created, in essence, a better mousetrap, right? Except this happened to be a toothbrush. Now, the other thing that I started to do is I read a little bit more about that toothbrush, and that toothbrush had over 20 patents that made it one of the most unique inventions of not only the year, but of the decade, actually. And this was in the 90s. Before that toothbrush, most toothbrushes were just straight pieces of plastic with bristles straight up and down. And that particular design hadn't changed very much since the first toothbrushes were actually sort of uncovered. And when I say first toothbrushes, I mean manufactured toothbrushes. And they would have come from China, and they would have been like a piece of bamboo or a piece of bone with the bristles from the neck, the back of the neck of a boar, pushed into them because they were the right consistency or such. And so they were pushed into little holes that had been drilled into the bone or to the bamboo and sort of woven around. And that's the original toothbrush, at least as we have discovered. There are other types of things that people use to brush their teeth. There's something called a kiwak stick, I think it's called. And it comes from Africa, a bush in Africa, which actually has medicinal properties. And people used to chew on it and turn the fibers into sort of like a brush, and they would brush their teeth with it. You can actually still get these online if you're really into homeopathic and all natural type things. So back to toothbrushes. So when I discovered that Oral-B and Braun had put so much money into an object like this, I started to really pay attention to toothbrushes. And the thing that I realized is that of all the objects that you can get in a store, toothbrushes have one of the highest turnover rates, which is to say they're constantly being innovated. You constantly have new and improved toothbrushes. Like, I challenge you, you can go to a drugstore and look at toothbrushes one year and come back the next year, and there will be entirely new and different toothbrushes. Not all of them will be gone, but they're always trying to up the ante because they know a couple of things. One, if the purpose of a business is to continually drive profits forwards, they have to keep coming up with better designs for a product. Toothbrushes lend themselves to that very easily. There's always material innovation in terms of the nylon or polyester or whatever it happens to be. It's probably nylon bristles that they make. And then here, I don't know if you can see this, but in this particular toothbrush, there are these little rubberized bristles here, and they're supposed to polish your teeth or something like that. And on the back, I didn't have this when I was a kid, but you've got these little these little bristles here, and that's a tongue cleaner because your tongue actually traps lots of things. And then, of course, and this comes straight out of Oral-B and Braun's innovations, you now have what's called an ergonomic design for the handle. So it fits your hand, and there are pressure, where your pressure points are, where you're going to pinch that thing more tightly. You have these rubberized cushioned pads. So this is a vacation in toothbrushing, if you will. I mean, this thing is the Cadillac of toothbrushes, or one of them, perhaps. This is not nearly at the top of the line, but maybe one of the lower models of a Cadillac, if you will. So that's today's design bite. And remember, as long as you're brushing well and brushing at least twice a day and flossing, you'll never have a problem biting for the rest of your life.